Well, let's look at another figure. We got the Troodon with this hideous edited raptor render. Absolutely disgusting. Looks just it's just clearly like a JP3 raptor with some extra spikes pasted on and like some redone colors. Weirdly enough, there's also a blurb on the back here that describes the Troodon as being poisonous. So it is clearly based off the Jurassic Park the game Troodon, but like redesigned to not be that specific design. Which makes sense given that, it's got the quills and the reddish gray coloring and everything about that screams Jurassic Park the game inspired. It's weird to me how Mattel has not once but twice done Troodons that are inspired by Jurassic Park the game, but without like pushing it too close to it, just the color palette and the spines a little bit. This one's also got kind of like a foggy eye thing going on here that's also very Jurassic Park the game. What they should have done, what would have been really cool if they wanted to reference the game, give this thing glow in the dark eyes. That would actually been kind of sick. Instead, it's just got a foggy glass eye. Missed opportunity. Dropped the ball there. So yeah, this is kind of a variation on the Raptor figures we're used to, but doing its own thing. We get him out of the box here. Take a closer look. He's got different proportions, like a really elongated neck versus the Velociraptor. Looks like probably a shorter tail overall, but yeah, still feet and stuff that are, I mean, the Troodontids are closely related to Dromaeosaurids, so of course they've got the sickle claws and very raptor-like body proportions. But just looking at a glance, like, hard to tell if the feet are actually any different. They do have like little protruding dew claws off the back. Might get a better look at that when I take it out of the packaging properly, but yeah, right there, you can kind of see it. Not exactly in focus, but there's a backward pointing dew claw. And if we look at the Raptor, yeah, the Raptor does not have that. So this is actually a unique leg sculpt, even, which is kind of surprising to me. They could have really gotten away with just reusing Raptor body pieces, but it does seem like it's probably an entirely new sculpt. So that's interesting. Let me get him out of the packaging. Yeah, here's what we got with him loose. He's got, again, the little nipple-like connector on the tail that they're doing now. The weird backward pointing dew claws, looking at it closer out of the packaging, is really weird. Because it's actually like the claw is like protruding backwards very sharply while most of the toe is like following down the foot pretty regularly. Like it's a really long toe there. Yeah, there, see it? It's all the way up to the ankle, heads straight down following the foot, and then sharply curves backwards to have that nail come out. Don't know why they did that. Very weird. The quills on the back here, this is all like hard plastic. Kind of weird. Like it's not super rigid. Like you can move them a little bit, but the head is pretty stiff. But these ones are a little more flexible. But it is very much like a single molded piece that's like in the back, right? Which is weird. Just in terms of like execution, it's kind of strange. The arms are also kind of surprising on this. They're bunny hands, so these are incorrectly placed wrists. So it's a design that's going very like first 5 films or whatever when the dinosaurs all had wrong wrists. Weird decision to make for an animal that's not in the films in current day and age, but again, this animal has some franchise history behind it that goes back to the classic JP era, so there's sort of a weird argument to make for a retro style hand design and wrist placement for consistency with Jurassic Park. And then tail's very short. It's got the wire again to bend. Very short tail, but it's got color on it. What doesn't have color is all the nails. So the fingernails are unpainted. They're just gray. And then the feet also they're painted black, including the nails. So it's just black all over the feet, as if he had stepped in mud. So essentially no special paint on the nails, right? Let me get the tail connected up here. This new tail design like seems like it's a little more finicky to get it to attach. I don't know when they started this different kind of tail. Like you'll feel it pop into place when it does go. You just gotta push it a little more. But yeah, there's the overall like proportion of this guy. Tail feels a little short, especially with how long that neck is. Um, but Troodon's kind of a dubious animal anyway, so I guess they can kind of do whatever they want bodily proportion wise. I feel like the balance is probably going to be a bit shit with that long of a neck and that short of a tail, but we'll see and if I can get it to stand. We've also got to play with the joints a little bit to see what we can do here. There tends to be kind of some weird, almost like bow-leggedness to some of the raptors and stuff where the feet end up being like really close together almost always. Yeah, his head and neck is erect enough that he does a decent job standing. I'm not gonna, try too hard to get him standing here on my hand, but trust me when I say that, he was able to balance pretty decently on the table in front of me out of view on the camera. A little erect and weird, but what you gonna do? So he's got the hinged neck. So this guy has the older raptor style neck where there is a very much a hinge here and a hinge here. So you can actually move the neck into a more horizontal posture. In which case, yes, the balance immediately dies. And it no longer balances well. I think I visually prefer that, a little more horizontal posture, which is probably more realistic than the upright neck. Um, Although I'll have to play with the legs more to try and get it to have a position where that'll actually balance a little bit. There's no mobility in the ankle here, which really limits your options too, because you've got to rely on the little bit of give you have in the feet and then the knee to make it kind of stand. The ankle would let you do a lot more to make this kind of flatter posture work better. So the cloudy eyes have a white pupil on like this gray cloudy eye. It is painted on the outside of the eye and casts a very noticeable shadow inside the eye when you're looking at it in the right kind of lighting, which is a really weird, like, it causes this like double pupil effect almost. I don't know if I can replicate it on camera, but it's quite noticeable looking at it from certain angles in my hand, which is very, very noticeable and not good. The teeth and the jaws look appropriately dainty for a troodontid. Jaws themselves pretty narrow. A little bit of an underbite, a little bit of a weird gap there on the jaw, like the raptor. This one definitely doesn't seem to want to like fully close up. Looks like there'll always be a little bit of a gap there in the front mouth. That's probably going to be down to your individual figure. If you get one that's can actually close its mouth or not. Its jaws ain't great. Uh, any other issues I see here? The paint application with all this like black splotches seems pretty okay. I mean, everything it ends before the end of the tail, which is pretty typical Mattel shit. Where like halfway down the tail, you have like no paint left. It's not so egregious on a design that doesn't have like a film representation or counterpart. Um, but like it still feels a little obvious when it's like every figure looks that way. Um, I've got my Troodon here on the ankle has a very noticeable gouge randomly on the foot, where like the plastic is gouged through the paint there. Not exactly focusing, but like that's you could see the white streak where it's like cut. Maybe you can see it too from like this angle. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Almost looks like somebody took a knife to it. Probably just a manufacturing wrinkle, hit a piece of machinery or something. Also, weirdly, he's got like a little orange spot on his underside of his chest. That's probably not going to really come through on the camera, but there's like a single dot of orange paint there between the arms. I think you could see it, which is also kind of random. Like, how does he get orange on the bottom where he's not even painted? Yeah, I gotta say, putting it in this posture does make the tail feel really short. Very strange choice. Because, like, I'm pretty sure the tail is shorter than, like, the raptor tail. Like, why is it not just the... Yeah, why is it not just the same tail? Right? Like, why does it have a special made shorter tail? Why not just give it this tail? Weird. They're in the same size packaging, so there's no reason not to even have the longer tail. Like, I think... Yeah, maybe the packaging doesn't actually have, like, the full length of the area where the tail would go, but you could make it work. Yeah, I don't know why they did the short tail there. That's really strange. Not great, honestly. I was pretty compelled by the fact that we're getting a Troodon. It was kind of an interesting choice to do, but in practice, this isn't doing much for me. It's not like Tiger Raptor levels of bad or anything. Proportions are a little weird. Not really a film animal. I might put this like top of C tier maybe. Yeah, I think I like it more than the rest of what's in here, but it's not doing too much for me here. So yeah, we'll put him right here and C. I don't know. Just not a terribly intriguing design, some weird questionable stuff with the way they, designed the figure, unpainted nails, like a visual, like a quite noticeable piece of damage on the ankle. In this particular one, the jaws don't close. The clouded eye with the painted pupils a really weird choice because it causes like a weird shadow inside the eye that looks very, very unnatural. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think top of C is fine for this. Maybe it should be the bottom of B. It feels a little more like a B tier figure, but I think I'm gonna put it in C just because it's very much like a Y. Why did we do a Troodon over like finishing up some of the other like raptor packs or doing something a little more interesting than a Troodon for like a non-film species animal? I don't know. There's a lot of things I think this could have been instead. Um, Also, I still don't know if I'll be able to get this guy to stand. Well, anyway, I think we can end this video here. There's no reason for this one to go too long because we don't have anything to compare it to. Um, yeah, better than the Tiger Raptor. Definitely going to be worse than the Stiggy. So I think I've said kind of all I can say about it.